Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world you're watching from. Excited today to have you on this call, the Expaat TV. We are very glad to have you. I mean, you don't know how much of excitement we derive from um, giving out a piece of ourselves to the world, giving out a piece of ourselves to our communities, giving out a piece of ourselves to SMEs and startups. And like we discussed last week, we had a discussion around how to leverage data for selling more as a business owner, because we've realized that startups and SMEs, they are very much shortchanged. They lack in the knowledge space when it has to do with leveraging data to sell more. And then we decided to see how we demystify the usage of data. You have data, but you're not using it. You have resources, you're not using it. You complain of low sales, but you could actually sell more. You could actually earn more. You could actually acquire more customers. You could actually expand to more nations. And this is what we want to open your eyes to, right? How are you able to leverage data to amplify what you do as a business owner? And how are you able to launch yourself into the data science and data analysis career path? And we have a very amazing guest who's going to be joining us in Expaat TV today to discuss how to outsell your competitor leveraging data. It's going to be coming up the screen after this short break. So I'd like you to just stay glued while we go for a short break. Yeah.
We all know we can make better decisions if we have more information. The concept of data has been around since the beginning of time. You know, every company ran their business based upon data. I remember the first time I dealt with a large retail company. The store manager had all the data that he said he needed. So I asked to see it, and it was on a yellow pad of paper. And he knew what sold, what didn't sell, and he said, you know, why would he need anything more than that? Well, let's fast forward to today. What do store managers use for making decisions? Well, all the information that they gather by products being sold and scanned at the cash register. But what about the digital video surveillance that's in every store, where they can actually monitor what aisles people walk up and down? They also analyze based upon your loyalty card, what you buy, when you buy, where you buy it, and how you buy it. They also analyze what men buy versus what women buy. All that data exists today, and more is being collected. And heaven forbid you try to figure out what you're doing online. Every company that you deal with online has your digital footprint. What websites you've been to, what's your IP address, what device you're using. Last December, even before the Christmas holiday ended, companies were saying 70% of items being purchased online were being purchased from mobile devices as opposed to laptops. How do they know that? Because they're collecting all that data. Well, the data is raw material, so you need to collect it and organize it, and that's step one. Step two is summarizing that data, analyzing it, and taking that data and elevating it to information. The next step is understanding patterns. What do men buy? What do women buy? What's market segmentation do? What do female athletes at NJIT do? What do companies of a certain size do? What's the automotive industry doing? That's when you start to see patterns. And now you go from information to knowledge. And then the next step is much more predictive, where you're actually making decisions based upon this knowledge. And you're now using it in terms of wisdom. So you've gone from data to information to knowledge and wisdom. And when a company has migrated their data to the wisdom level, now they're able to make decisions on what businesses should we be in? What businesses should we opt not to be in? How can we be more successful? How can we react to our competition? How can we be 3 steps ahead of our competition? So that's why data is so important. And people say, well, this concept of big data, analyzing information, that's existed for years. Yes, it has. But the impact of it is much greater today. And the ability to gather data is important. Now, data is a corporate asset. and it needs to be protected as a corporate asset. However, data is just the raw information. You need to migrate that data through information, knowledge, and wisdom to really have it be a critical part of any organization.
Hello, 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 and welcome again. So that short video just gave a little insight into how you can leverage data at a very, little scale. Now, the truth is this: regardless of the level you are in your business, you can leverage data to your advantage, right? You just need to know how to do it, right? You see, some of the very prominent business models that we have today, that we celebrate today, they are powered by data. When you talk about Uber serves you better because they have a data that informs them what you desire most. They have a data that informs them your interests, right? They have a data that informs them what your very what's the right word now? The touch point that you value the most, the customer touch point that you value the most. They have a data for that, right? So it means that with data, you will be able to understand, where is my customer? Where is he or she, finding more value? And how can I add such value to my product? How can I add such value to my service? What can I do to be able to improve the customer satisfaction? Now you can carry out surveys and you analyze the surveys, analyze the feedbacks, and be able to use it to improve on your service, improve on your products, right? We want to help you to leverage every kind of data to sell more, because we know this is EMBER month. This is a festive season all over the world, right? And you will see that purchasing behavior is going to be heightened this period, right? A lot of people will buy more. A lot of people will want to get more, acquire more. How do you position yourself to become that brand that would be most preferred in the cascades of brands that do what you do? And that is what we'll be discussing today with a veteran data scientist. His name is Idowu Lekora, who is joining us from Spain. Idowu has over half a decade of professional experience helping young people penetrate, into the data science career, and also helping small businesses leverage data to sell more. I'm going to be, in a short while, going to be having Idowu on your screen. Idowu is joining us from Spain. Hi Idowu, how are you?
Hi, how you doing? How's Nigeria?
Very well. Oh man, Nigeria is great.
And how was MTN network yesterday?
The thing is, we're hoping that our internet infrastructure gets improved. And we're really hoping that we get it right in the forthcoming elections. We have elections coming up in a few months' time, about 2-3 months' time. And it gives an avenue for citizens to come vote and make their decision of who should be in the helm of affairs. And I'm hoping we have the right person that would fix a lot of things. Nigeria is a great country. We have a lot of potentials. We have very great human capital, but then there's still a lot more that can be achieved with a government that is intentional about building the economy and building the communities, building the people.
I hope we can use data to win election. Maybe I will have developed a model. Yeah, nice.
That would have been nice anyway.
Very nice.
Yeah, so we have great professionals. Some are students, some are business owners, some are young people who want to switch careers, some are startups, some are people who are doing quite well but they want to do more, and they've joined. A lot of persons will also be watching the recorded version. We are streaming on 3 platforms, and it's just a description of our audience, and they would like to know, more about how they can leverage data to sell more. I know we did quite well in our last conversation. For those of you who didn't join, kindly subscribe wherever you are joining from. Kindly subscribe or follow, because you need to be on this page if you want to grow as a business owner, as a young person. If you want to be exposed to knowledge from diverse places of the world. We have people joining us from UK, Canada, Spain, Germany, Nigeria. If you want to be exposed to this knowledge bank, you need to subscribe to our channel. You need to follow our pages to get informed, right? I know we did quite well in our last conversation, but I would like you to dig down more on how small businesses can leverage data to sell more. You have the stage, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Ike. So in the last edition of this program, we had some brief discussion on how you can outsell your competitors with data. Then we talk about the importance of data, how small businesses and startups can leverage on data. Yes, we're talking about how to outsell your competitors with data, but we're taking a kind of like a bottom-top approach. So we won't just be going about your competitors, because the truth is there are people that don't even have competitors, and within 2 years or 3 years, they will fizzle out because of how they are running their business, how their business model is. So they don't even need a major competitor to defeat them, you understand? Some people are losing sales, they are losing revenues because of how they are running their businesses. So we'll be taking a bottom-up approach where we'll be talking about you as an individual before we look at your competitors. I think there's an adage in Yoruba that says the insect that kills the plant is actually lives inside the plant, you understand? So that's the thing. So so that's the thing. So if you can't conquer yourself, you can't conquer your competitors. So that's the thing. And then last week we talked about you getting feedback from your customers, and because as an African, though I'm in Spain, but I'm still a Nigerian anywhere I am, you understand? So I realized that most African businesses, Nigerian businesses, or most business owners in Nigeria don't take feedbacks from their customers, you understand? They just run their business. They don't even care about their customers. They don't build any community around their customers. So you have built a product. You need to get the feedback of your customers. You're not selling to yourself, you're selling to them. You understand? How did you serve them? You understand? So these are ways of getting data. So you understand? So I won't be going about the competitors. We need to start with the business owners. What are they doing wrong? Because if you do some things very right, you will beat your competitors. Okay, so last week we discussed about data, and then we talked about data, collection of facts, numbers, words, measurement, observation. Like business data is information that is related to a company, like your sales data, customer contact information, your website traffic statistics. But I realized that most times, most companies, they relegate this customer contact information to the background, you understand? They just collect information from customers, no storage, nothing, and it's as if the customers are just like, what would I say, more like they are not relevant, you understand? And these are the people that will actually give you the sales, the revenue that you need, you understand? So when you look at the data, I don't want you to see it as an abstract stuff. You should try to bring your mind down to something that you experience every day, you understand? So your sales data, your customer contact information is data, you understand? But it's just more like a raw information, you understand? So it now depends on what you're going to do with this data, you understand? So this is just a general overview of data. Every day, like as I'm speaking, I'm generating data, you understand? Someone coming to your website, they're generating data. They come in to purchase from you, they have generated data because they have come in to submit their information to you. They've come to buy something. So it's more like data. So don't see data as something that is abstract. It's something that we see every day. You understand? And we discussed about something like data is the new oil. You understand? So just the same way we have petroleum. Petroleum is the new oil, but now data is the new oil. And people who will be successful in this 21st century, in this century, are people who are smart. So we can call them data-lium, so more like petroleum, you understand? People that are wise, you understand? People that understand the data ecosystem, people that understand data, people that understand what data can do for them. They are more like the petroleum engineers, and they will be the next wealthy people in the century, you understand? So the importance of data to your business is actually very, very important. And then there's a quote that we discussed last week. So where there is data smoke, there's business fire. That's the thing. If you see a business going up, if you see a business doing well, it's a business that understands data, you understand? So these are just what we discussed last week, and then we discussed about this. And I gave an instance about this popular sugar that the majority of us in Nigeria, Africa knows about. If you look at this sugar, I think this sugar product has been in existence for more than 30 years, if I'm not mistaken. I think before I even came into this world, you understand? So for more than 30 years, this sugar company has actually been, and this has been their package, you understand? And I asked a question, why do you think they didn't change their brand, you understand? Because most times when you're about to start a business, people just launch their business, and then when they have started their business, they just take irrational decisions. So imagine if these guys actually change the package of this sugar, they might lose sales because people are not complaining. And how do you get complaints from people? Through surveys, you understand? When you get surveys from your customers, you know their pain points. And this is how you can be data centric, how you can be smart. Getting surveys, like I will overemphasize this, like getting surveys from your customers, understanding their pain points is very, very important. And that is where you can start getting your data from. And then when you start analyzing it, you start to see what they're talking about. So imagine in a month, St. Louis Sugar actually sent a survey, and out of all the questions that were asked, nobody complained about the package. And then tomorrow you just change the package. It will be very, very bad. Let me give an example of a popular website called Nairaland. So Nairaland is more like a Facebook for Africans, Nigerians. It's more like a popular website. And then for over 10 years, Nairaland interface has remained the same. People have tried to suggest new designs for Nairaland to make it very beautiful, but people are not complaining because the website is very simple. People are easy to navigate, and it's easier for you to navigate on the website. People are not complaining, and the businessman did not really feel a need to change it. Imagine if he just wake up tomorrow and say, okay, I want to change the design. You understand? From the simple to maybe a complex one, even very beautiful. So I think before this webinar started, I was on Twitter, and then some persons were complaining about the new CUDA app. Sorry if you're a CUDA employee or you're a CUDA staff, it's just an example. People are complaining because the new design is actually very complicated. You understand? And people are complaining. This is how people lose customers. So how can you sell more? How can you outsell your competitors? First of all, start with yourself. Solve your problem. Deal with the lapses within you, and then you can actually outsell your competitor. So imagine CUDA now didn't get any survey from their customers. Before you know it, they will lose customers because they're finding it very difficult. Before you launch anything, you need to get data, get their surveys. It's very, very important. Okay. So data is abundant, but we can't see it. Yeah, you might be wondering, okay, you have talked about data, but I can't see it. Like it seems it's abstract. The truth is data is abundant, but we can't see it. This was something we discussed last week. And there's several sources of data from startups and businesses. So you have your supply chain management information, how your goods are moving, you understand, your sales data. So about the supply chain management information, I read of a business. I think they were having issue with a particular link in their supply chain management. You understand? They realized that customers were not getting their orders on time. So they had to now look at their supply chain management information to look at, okay, what is wrong? Maybe there's a delay. So they realized that there was a delay somewhere. And then they were able to solve it, and then everything was now smooth, and the business was moving very fast. So when you look at all this information, sometimes people just feel, okay, the business is not moving fine. The business is not going fine. And because you did not even try to trace your supply chain management information. Maybe the person that ought to deliver your goods had an issue or something like that, or something is wrong. And then you just realize that your customers are not getting their orders on time. You are shipping it early, but your customers are not getting it. So you need to now go back, collect information from your supply chain management information, get those information, look at what is happening, who is delaying this. Okay, I ship this from, maybe you're in Lagos, you need to send something to Warri, send it from Lagos, maybe using God is good logistics, and then it came down to maybe Ore, because you need to get to Ore before you get to Warri. So maybe it got to Ore, and then within Ore to Warri, you realize that you are spending about 12 hours. You understand? So why are you spending 12 hours? Why is it that the goods from Ore to Warri is taking about 12 hours. Normally, it ought to be 6 hours if I'm not mistaken. It ought to be like 6 hours or 5 hours, but it's taking 12 hours. So now you need to now dig in and realize that, okay, maybe there's an issue with the Ore office. You need to change the logistic company from Ore to Warri. So those are things you need to look at. You understand? So the next one is your sales data. Like, this is, you can't overemphasize this. Your sales data, information about your sales, you need to look at those information. These are your data, you understand? Because sometimes you just feel data is abstract, you understand? Your sales data, how like, are you collecting this information? The truth is sometimes we even collect this information, but we are not storing it. We'll still talk about that. So your warehouse, inventory information, customer contact information, if you look at those things that are in bold, those are very, very important. Your customer contact information, the emails, their phone number, their birthday, you understand? I remember there was a time some Nigerian banks do send their customers happy birthday message. Those are little things. Those are little information that can actually draw your customers to you. You understand? So this little information that people feel is not relevant, they're actually very relevant. So feedback from your customers, like I've said, is very, very important. Product data and description and social media campaign information. These are a lot of data, but the three most important are, or the four most important are your supply chain management information. That is if you deal in logistics, your sales data, customer contact information, and feedback from customers. Feedback from customers is very, very important. Like, virtually what I'll be saying throughout my discussion today will be about feedback from customers, because sometimes we look at the competitors, whereas we're not looking at ourselves. You know, there's a way you care for your customers that they won't, there's a way you care for your customer, you create a link between them through the surveys. Like, you ask questions, you ask them questions randomly. You can even call them to check up on them, you understand? Just call randomly, just call on them, because you are a small business. It's easier for you to call them. They know you understand? They can build this relationship, you understand? Like I said in the last session, I talked about this community building. You are still a small business. You don't have maybe 1,000 customers yet, maybe it's just 10. You can randomly just check up on them. They know that, okay, this is someone that cares for them. You understand? So I think around last week I was on WhatsApp, and then I saw someone's status. He actually deals in generator, and then he sold a generator set to one of his customers, and up till now he has not received the money. So he just messaged the man on a normal note, and then the man told him the challenge he had, like he had an accident and the rest. So imagine if he did not maybe just send this message to this man. He might have felt maybe this man is trying to ghost him, and then maybe he sent a wrong information to this man. He might have lost a customer, you understand? He would have lost a customer. So your feedback from customers, you need to get their information. You have run a service for them, you sold a product to them, get their feedback. Don't be scared of negative feedback. It's fine. Don't be scared of negative feedback, you understand? Because sometimes when you get negative feedback, people are like, I'm depressed, people don't like me. No, look at those things. What are you doing wrongly? It can actually help you. So these are ways of getting data. So why startups struggle with sales despite having abundant data? Number one, lack of data storage. And then the second one is ability to draw insights from the data. So now you have collected information from your customers, and then it's just lying on the paper. You understand? It's just on the paper. It's just on your paper. You have written it, and everything is just on paper. How do you want to analyze it? How do you store this information? You understand? So storing the information, you might need to maybe get a simple tool, more like Excel. Like, Excel is very, very simple. You can use it to store your information. You can use it to track your sales. You can use it to track your customer information. You don't need a complicated tool or a database, you understand? Simple Excel is actually very, very needed since you are just a startup and a small business. Maybe probably when you start making enough sales, you can now invest in database. But lack of data storage is actually an issue. So you have collected your customers' information. How are you going to store it? Yes, and then the next one is ability to draw insight from the data. When I talk about lack of data storage, how you can actually solve that is what's it called? You can use a basic tool like Excel to store those information. Store the information, store their feedback, store customers' information. Your customers shouldn't remind you about anything, you understand? You should be proactive. So you become proactive with the data that you have. So you know that, okay, your customer's birthday is tomorrow. Your customer doesn't need to remind you. You can just send a birthday wishes to them. You understand? These are ways you draw attention from your competitors to you. And then they realize that, there's a way you have built maybe a long-lasting relationship with your customers that they will feel like guilty to go to your competitor. You understand? Then ability to draw insights from the data. So So I want to ask a question. If you look at this information on the screen, though I would have loved this to be interactive, but well, we are using. So if you look at the information on your screen, realize that, can you really point out the lowest figure from this? I think it's very, very difficult, right? Except you have a very, very sharp eye, maybe like the EFCC Eagle eye, that is very sharp. You understand? EFCC is like a Financial Crime Commission organization in Nigeria. But if you look at this next slide, if you look at this is kind of beautiful, right? You understand? You can easily see your total revenue. You can see your targets. You can see new customers. You can see variance. You can see the targets. You can see new customers versus targets. You can see if you are meeting your goals. You understand? So this is more like, if you compare this to this, you realize that this is better, right? This is better than this. So now you have stored your information, but how do you visualize it? So that brings us to that ability to draw insights from your data. So with this, now when you have visualized your data, you realize that it's easier for you to see. It's easier for you to know, okay, this is your total revenue, this is your target. So if you look at this now, this business is doing fine. Why? Because their target was 2 million and their total revenue was over 2 million. That is 2.4 million. Understand? So if you look at it, so revenue versus target monthly, this business is doing great. So last week I talked about this issue whereby people are making sales but they are not making revenue. So imagine your target is 1 million. Well, you're able to sell and then you sold about 900,000 naira, but your target was 1 million naira, or let me say $1 million or 1 million euros. I mean euro. So let's assume it's 1 million euro, and then you're able to sell about 900,000 euros. Even though you had a lot of customers, but you have not met your target. You understand? So these are ways in which you can actually track you can actually track yourself. Know if you are making sales, and then you can now look at the product. Okay, which product is actually giving me more sales, and then you can target your sales to that. You understand? Maybe the product that are not selling well is because you are not marketing it very well. You understand? So sometimes it might be that you are not marketing your product very well. So you need to now understand what is happening. So that's the thing. And again, about your competitors. I think there was a story I read about MTN and Glo. Sometimes MTN sends their staff to Glo office, just monitor them. You understand? They go to Glo office, they dress like normal customers, and then they try to get how Glo serves them. You understand? Or how MTN serves them. So they look at how the customer experience is, how the reception is for them. So Glo staff, sometimes they try to disguise themselves as customers, and then they enter MTN office. So these are ways you can actually get information from your competitors and see how they are treating their customers. You understand? It's legit. You understand? So it's legit. You understand? So you can just go, and you can even go to your competitor's website, see how the checkout is. So maybe your competitor is into maybe online products. So how is the checkout experience like? You need to click multiple links before you can buy a product. So that can actually help you get those information, get those data, and then you can know that, okay, I think my competitor is wasting the time of our customers, and then you can now reduce it. You understand? Just tell your customers, okay, this is reduced, and then before you know it, people want things that are very easy. You understand? Nobody wants stress. Imagine I need to click 4 links before I can collect the goods. So with that information, you can easily know that, okay, I need to optimize my checkout. You understand? So, and then you can actually visualize this information too. Okay, so case studies of business that have leveraged data. So we'll talk about some businesses that have leveraged data for their own advantage. So this is for you to see how businesses have leveraged on data. So these are case studies of businesses that have leveraged data for their own benefit. So the first one is Amazon. So if you look at it, Amazon, I believe actually everyone of us know them. Amazon is an e-commerce platform. They also have the cloud platform, AWS, Amazon Web Service. So how did Amazon utilize data? So Amazon used data to recommend products. So sometimes you go to an e-commerce website and then they will tell you that customers who bought this also bought this. Like, you understand? How did they get that information? It's through data. understand? So they analyze information of people that are similar to yours. So what is your age? So let's say you are 30. What's your gender? Okay, you are a male. And then maybe your educational status, so you're a graduate or something. So with this now, they can recommend that, okay, people in this category, they are more like all these young guys, as youth, we love something that is fancy. So they can easily recommend this to us for you. You understand? So despite 12 billion products, they find that, so with this now, Amazon was able to increase their sales by 35%. You understand? So they use collaborative filtering technique, you understand, to recommend product for their customers. So they use data to analyze their customers and created the most powerful e-commerce platform. You understand? So this is the power of data, you understand? So the truth is we have a lot of information and we can actually outsell our competitors, but we are not using this data for our own benefit. So Amazon, a big company, had to use this data. They collected information from their customers and then they were able to recommend products for them. Okay, look at an example of this again is Facebook. Sometimes I remember discussing something on Facebook, just a text, and then I think I went on Facebook and then I saw a similar advert. You understand? So imagine because of the information, like the customer information, Facebook was able to recommend products for me. And if I buy, it's actually a plus to Facebook. So this is about recommendation. But how do you get this recommendation? How do you recommend this information for your customers? It's through the data that you have collected. So this is about Amazon. So another one is Sephora. Sephora is a cosmetic-based startup with about 2,600 stores. You understand? So it's more like a big cosmetic startup. So what did they do? How did they use that data to increase their sales? So what they did is Sephora gathered data and realized that their clients were experiencing racial bias and discrimination every 2 in 5 stores. So there's this issue of racism, you understand? So if you have traveled outside the country, you realize that racism is still something that is common. Though I have not experienced it here in Spain, but I believe in other countries in Europe or in America, even in UK, I think there's racism. But I've not experienced any in Spain. So they tried. They didn't wait for the customers to complain. So look at what Sephora did. They didn't wait for the customers to complain. They didn't wait for customers to complain that, okay, we are facing some racial bias or we are getting some racism or something like that, or maybe some racial discrimination, you understand? So they went out to get information, you understand? So only 30% who got unfair treatment acted on it, and it's why the problem was not noticed. So sometimes there may be a problem with your business, but you may not know. That's the truth. And you feel everything is going fine because your customers are not complaining. Sometimes people just maybe don't really feel like complaining. Maybe most of your customers are people that are more low-headed, you understand? They are not like Gen Z or something like that. People that like to, sorry, apologies to the Gen Z in the building. But most times Gen Z guys are very loud and they like to express their emotions and feelings and the rest. But maybe the people you are serving are maybe old guys like 40, 50 that don't like a lot of issues, they don't like noise and the rest. So you might feel everything is all right, but something is wrong. So what did Sephora did? So Sephora actually put in a lot of effort into tackling the problem. So they went in to gather data. They gather data from their customers. It might be like a survey. So how did you get any racial treatment or maybe discrimination at our store? How was our store? How was the product? It can be every week, it can be every month. So with this data, they were able to realize that about 30% people actually got unfair treatment, and these people did not report this. You understand? So you might actually have a perfect working system, but people might not report. That's the thing. So if people don't report, you feel everything is all right, whereas everything is not all right. So what did Sephora? They put their effort into tackling the problem by doubling Black-owned brands and implementing new training and performance reviews based on fair treatment. Its care and fairness were how Sephora managed to win customers at, you understand? So imagine if your competitor is not doing something like this and you are doing this. People want to patronize you. So these are little ways. Like I said, empathy is very, very important. If you are building any business, build on empathy, build on compassion. Don't just build on money. Yes, money will come. Don't just build on the money. Let people see that compassion in you. Let people see that empathy. People don't even need to complain before you notice. let me just give an example of my friend. My friend Mike is actually the CEO of Purple Watch, and I worked with him for a while as the head of digital marketing. And something about Mike is always passionate about the customer. Yeah, he's always passionate about customers. Like if a customer is not happy, Mike can go home sad. Just that, like he can go home very sad. So, and that actually propels him to serve the customer very well. And that is the reason why his business is standing. He's the only one. Nobody has. He's the only laundromat in Fukri in Nigeria, a university in Nigeria. You understand? So, and he's yet to get any competitor because of how compassionate and how empathetic he is. You understand? So that's the thing. You don't need to wait for people to complain before you dive in. Okay, because of time, let's move fast. So I believe virtually every one of us know Netflix, right? So Netflix is a streaming platform where you can watch movies, people relax during the weekend. I should be watching Netflix now, but so Netflix is like a streaming service. So how did Netflix use data for their own advantage? So Netflix gathered all the data from the date, place, time we watch each content to the device we use. Also, they also know when and how often we pause during the show. They see if we complete each show and how long we take. So Netflix intelligence made us feel that they can read our minds. 80% of the users follow Netflix recommendation. So because you have been able to understand your customer. You may not have the system to build a recommendation system. You may not have that platform, but because you are still a small business, you can understand your customers. So who are your customers? The age. These are young guys, you understand? You can easily know that, okay, for young guys, what are the things they need? What are those things they like? You understand? So you can easily imbibe all those little bit of suggestions and little bit of attributes of your customers into this, you understand? So that was how Netflix became the #1 streaming service because of how they were able to leverage data. So these are big companies, you understand? But for a small customer, you can downscale this to you. So you have data about your customers. How are you using that data for their own advantage? So that's the thing. Okay, so you might be wondering, okay, I am not as big as Netflix. I'm not as big as Sephora. I'm not as big as Amazon. So what are the tools that startup can use for generating insights? Number one, I've talked about Microsoft Excel. It's very basic, but very, very powerful. You understand? You can use from data storage to data analytics. You can use Microsoft Excel to do a lot of stuff. And also, I think you can use something called a mail chip. You understand? So there are some mailing systems where you can easily send surveys to people. Survey chip, something like that. I think Survey Monkey, and all these little bit of tools that you can actually use to get information and then store your information in Excel. So please, the best way to actually win over your competitor is for you to have empathy, for you to be empathetic towards your customers. Like that is the hallmark, you understand? You know, most times as businessmen, as entrepreneurs, as people who are about to start a business, we look at the money, you understand? But if you look at the customer, you understand? If you look at the customer and you solve their problem, you will probably be able to, you're able to sell better. So let's take, for instance, Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is selling, the Twitter badge for $8, you understand? So what gave him that boldness to sell the Twitter badge? Because he realized that on Twitter, a lot of people, an average Twitter person, wants that Twitter badge, that verification, because it's more like a way to separate the poor people from the elites, you understand? So, and he realized that, okay, I can massage the ego of my people. These people want the badge. They want it. They are desperate about it. So because of that, he was able to come up with $8. And the funny thing is, I saw a lot of people who bought that, who paid for the Twitter badge. You understand? So it shows that Elon Musk is, maybe you might feel he's wrong, but at least he was able to understand his customers. And then he used that information to sell the Twitter badge for $8. And it's, at least I feel, if I'm not mistaken, more than 1,000. If I'm not mistaken, more than 1,000 persons on Twitter have bought the Twitter badge. Okay, so the next one is Microsoft Power BI and Tableau. So I showed a graphical information previously. So this can be built with Excel, can also be built by Power BI. It's actually free. You don't need to pay any money. Power BI is free, and it's easy for you to actually learn it. You understand? Just watching YouTube videos and the rest, it's easy for you to learn. So this was built with Excel, but you can actually still do this with Power BI, and you don't need to write any code. It's just very, very simple and easy for you. So this is called data analytics. I'll still talk about the data carriers. So yeah, so Microsoft Power BI or Tableau. So it's more like a software to visualize your information, visualize your data. So like I said, if you look at the previous information before I showed so if you look at this, it's actually very difficult for you to get any information from this. Understand? But with this, it's easy for you to see, okay, total revenue, targets, achievement, and the rest. So you know how you can track your sales, you can track your company if it's doing well. You understand? Before you run into bankrupt. I think there's a popular stuff online now, FTX. Yeah, a cryptocurrency company that went down the drain. You understand? So with this kind of information, you know that, okay, am I making sales? Am I about to hit the bottom? You understand? With this stuff information. And then you know the new customers. Are customers coming? Are you doubling down on your marketing? Do you need to double down on your marketing? You understand? How many customers are you getting per week? How many were you getting last year? So with this kind of information, you can also maybe how many customers are leaving? It is called customer churn analysis. How many customers are leaving your brand? You understand? So with this, you can know, okay, what's wrong? Why are your customers leaving? Are they leaving to your competitor? How can you win them back? Or how can you even win your competitors' customers? You understand? So that's the thing. So these are Then the next one is Google Form. So Google Form is it's also free. You can use it to run your survey. You don't need to pay. If maybe you're a small business, you can actually use Google Form to get information from your customers. You're about to launch a product, please ask them. Don't just assume because it's beautiful. Like I said, I gave an instance of Nairaland. So Nairaland CEO, Shewa Shewa, his Nairaland website is still like that. You can go and check it. I think I was very active in 2013. Up to today, the website is still like that because there's no need for you to change it if the customers are not complaining. It's easy, you understand? So, and again, before you change anything, get information from them to solve it. And then the next one is Google Analytics. Google Analytics helps you to track what's it called, your website. So if you run a website, you know the numbers of customers that have come, where are they spending their time, you understand? Which part of your website are they spending most of their time, you understand? So this is actually very free. It's free. Google Analytics. All these tools are free. So you have a lot of tools, you understand? So you can't tell us that you are now smart using data because of all these tools, you understand? So then these are just like a pictorial view of it. Analytics, analyze your site traffic in 3 steps, sign up, add your tracking code, learn about your audience, you can learn about their demographic, learn about a lot of stuff. Who are the people that are coming to your website? Are they old guys? Are they young guys? Are they Gen Z? Or all this stuff, you understand? So with this, you can easily know where to target and who to target. So these are the things. And then Hotsuite can manage all your social media in one place. So social media too is another way of getting feedback. Right now, a lot of people go on Twitter. I remember last year when the government of Nigeria banned Twitter, it was more like a bad decision. Because a lot of businesses actually face the impact, because before you know it, someone will just come on Twitter and just tweet about something. So people can actually express their opinion. So you need to have a Twitter account if possible, and people can just go on Twitter and say, "Oh, this company, how they treated me is very bad," and stuff like that. So when you get those information, you can actually analyze it. What are people saying? Sentiment analysis. So there's something called sentiment analysis. So you analyze: are they saying positive things about you? Are they saying negative things about you? Don't ignore them, please. When they're saying negative things about you, and how do you get this information? You can get it through Twitter. You can use low-code tools to extract information about you, get what people are saying about you, hashtags, how are you doing, and then you can analyze it with Power BI, Tableau, and the rest, and then get those information. So these are ways you build. And what are people saying about your competitor too on Twitter? Understand? What are they saying? So they are saying something, okay, your competitor is very good. Why are they saying it's very good? Okay, it treats customers very well. And then you realize that people are saying you're not treating your customers very well. So with that information, you can actually win over your competitors' customers to you. So those are ways to actually sell. And also this is more like Hotjar, similar to Google Analytics to check. So this is more like an heat map. So it shows where people are spending most of their time on. Understand? So these are simple tools for you to. So this is more like where people are spending most of their time on. And then I said I will speak about how to transition to the data career. So the funny thing is, if you're actually working with Excel right now, I can tell you that you're a data analyst. If you work with Excel, you're already a data analyst, because I think Excel is the most basic tool for anyone how to transition into data analytics. So don't tell yourself that, okay, I was discussing with a lady, a friend of mine, and she was like, she only managed the company's data on Excel and this and that. I told her, you're already a data analyst. You understand? You're already doing data analytics, you understand? So that's the thing. So how do you transition into the data space? So there are several career paths in the data ecosystem. So you have data analytics, you have data science, you have data engineering, you have business intelligence. So, but the easiest part for you to transition into is data analytics. So we have talked about this, getting data, deriving insights from it. That is data analytics. And how do you start? Start with Excel. Get information, analyze data. If you work in a company or you work in a startup, you can just get information about your company, analyze it, visualize it, understand? Visualize it. So with this, you can start your career. Then once you start, after you have learned Excel, learn Power BI, how to visualize data, learn SQL, how to work with bigger database, and then from there you can start your career as data science. You don't even need to know how to code. Excel, you don't need to write any code to visualize data. Power BI, you don't need to write any code to visualize data. Only SQL, but just a little bit. Even Ike here is a data analyst. Yes, so Ike is my boss in the data space. So that's the thing. I think I am done. So thank you very much. So this is my Twitter handle and my LinkedIn page, my LinkedIn profile. So you can ask any question by the question and answer session, please. I'm willing to answer every question. Thank you for having me.
Incredible. Hi, man. I would like to make a plea. I would like to make a plea. If I don't know if these slides could be shared with the audience.
Yes,
because
yes. I will share it.
This is so detailed. Thank you so much. I mean, I really I'm going to watch some part of this session after now. There are certain parts that where you're talking about the hot jar and the rest. I'm going to watch that part again. You really gave lots of value in this session. And come on, if you are here, just say something in the comment section. This is value loaded. I mean, this is something you would pay a couple of dollars to acquire. To acquire it as a course or maybe as a strategy from someone. You pay a couple of dollars to get things like this, and we are getting it here for free. Thank you so much, Idowu. And what this means in a sense is that we are beginning to see young people rise, young people who are making impact in their spheres, and then finding it, pertinent to give back to the society. It's not everyone that will come on a platform like this and give out their time for free to share to a community. It takes the community, someone that has the community service at heart. So there are certain people who they understand what it means to build communities, and that is what United Nations and the sister bodies are clamoring for. That people all over the world will begin to understand the very essence of giving back to societies. As a business, how are you, implementing your corporate social responsibility? As an NGO, how far are you deepening your programs and your projects to communities? And this is what we are talking about, that young people would build capacity and then give back to the society to better the society. And this is brought to you by Expaat TV. Expaat is an organization that is a fast rising. You need to look out for expats. The website is www.expaat.co. expaat.co. So if you've not visited the platform, do well to visit the platform and make yourself comfortable with what you find here. Familiarize yourself with the services and everything we do at Expaat TV. Expaat TV is the YouTube show that you're watching now, and then we have expaat.co, which is the ecosystem that captures everything that Expaat is all about, right? So it's a startup, a rising startup that is demystifying how services are being rendered to businesses and to the academia, right? So businesses that are suffering low patronage, that are suffering low customer acquisition, businesses that want to maybe penetrate into new markets, businesses that want to launch new technology, Expaat hold them by hands. For over half a decade, Expaat have been helping people across 3 continents to be able to launch profitably into the market and stay ahead of their competition. And then for the academia, helping them to ace their academics. So it's like a twofold side of a business that is trying to ensure that as an individual and as a business, you stay ahead. You need to identify yourself with what Expaat is doing if you've not. And just in case it's still vague, kindly subscribe to the channel, because we are going to be introducing a lot of educational videos, educational snippets, YouTube shorts that is going to bless your business and bless your life. And do well to share these with everyone you know that is around you, everyone you know that is a business owner, everyone you know that is a young person, because it's essentially designed for young people. Every Sunday like this, we come together, get change makers, get people who have proven track records to come share with us on our platforms, right? And in Expaat TV, our underlying mission is to help you, stay ahead. So as a business person, you can stay ahead. As an academia, right, you can stay ahead. And today we discussed about data and how you can leverage data for business. This was an amazing session. Just in case you joined us midway, right? Whatever platform you're watching us from, we're going to be having the recorded version there. Do well to go and watch it in your spare time. But more importantly, implement the strategies. And just in case you want to maybe reach Expaat for any of our services, or maybe reach us to really get to know what we do and all of that, go to the website expaat.co. There is our contact details are there. There's a form there that captures your needs and demands, and then we take it up from there. Thank you so much. I think you did justice to this, that young people that I can't even find questions here, but I would share the slides with the audience that indicates interest. Funny enough, we began to get comments from the last conversation we had on Sunday. Long after we had dropped that conversation, we began to get comments and feedbacks, and we are hoping that we're going to receive comments and feedback and then work on it. And please, if the time and day for this session is not so comfortable with you, maybe you're just watching the pre-recorded version, you couldn't join the live version, and maybe you have a better timestamp to suggest, do well to suggest in the comment section, and we're going to look
We're using data. Right now, we're using data to get their survey and their feedback.
Exactly. So you get the point now. This is one of the points that our guest speaker shared. Lekura, who is joining us from Spain, he shared about getting feedbacks to improve your service, improve your products. So it is data. You are gathering data to improve on your product, so much so that it becomes irresistible, that your customers cannot resist it. They cannot prefer another product or service to yours, because you've so much understood them. Yeah. You so much understood, their fantasies. So you incorporate both their interests, their needs, their fantasies, and everything in a particular service and product, and you outsell your competitor. There is a load of strategies that was meted out in these conversation, and I'd like you to go back and join and enjoy the conversation. Do well to share this link to your friends, your colleagues, your groups, and whoever you feel needs this. So like I said earlier, if if you have a better timestamp or maybe a better date that we can be holding this, do well to make that known in the comment section, and we're going to consider your recommendations. Thank you so much. My name is Emmanuel Ohanwe. Sorry I didn't introduce myself earlier. I got out of jubilation, excitement, to have, because every time we come up on Expaat TV, we are excited because one person will come back with a testimony, one person will come back with a result to say, this is what I did and I got it from the Expaat TV, and this is how my life has changed, this is how my business has changed, this is how my process has changed. Yeah, so my name is Emmanuel Ohanwe. I'm your host for Expaat TV, and at the same time we have our guest speaker who joined us from Spain, Idowu Ilekura. Thank you so much, Idowu, for giving out your time, giving out your wealth of knowledge, because I know Idowu is a very tenacious human being, ventured into data science, and today Idowu is a legend. He works with GDG.
Yeah, my boss.
We don't start that back. We are live. All right, don't mind us, Jerry. So, thank you so much, for joining us, and we really appreciate. Send our regards to the Spaniards, and to every Nigerian who is in Spain. We hope to have you back in February, March to come and join us in this election so we can deliver the people's mandate.
Yes.
All right.
And vote wisely, please. If you're in Nigeria, please vote wisely.
Yes, so you've heard it from someone who is not in Nigeria. So he has nothing to lose, and he's telling you vote wisely. So please do well to vote wisely. This is not a political platform, but then majority of our viewers are Nigerians. We have other people who also joining us from other nations, and other continents. And so, it goes to say that everywhere in the world, everywhere you are, this is your civic responsibility, and discharge that with utmost intentionality. Discharge that with utmost thoughtfulness. Give it your utmost. Be very thoughtful about it, right? When you want to discharge your civic responsibilities. Thank you so much. Once again, I send you regards from Expaat, the Expaat management team, all the experts on board, and just in case I almost missed out on this. Maybe you're looking for a way to earn. Expaat has earning opportunity. In fact, I was discussing with the CEO a few days ago. The CEO was telling me that they are running short of staff. Hey, I say, man, are you serious? Because couple of weeks back, I was having a conversation with a group of people, and they said that jobs are very difficult to get. The global inflation rates, the COVID pandemic, the inter-country conflict and all of that, rise in gas price, rise in so many commodities have caused loss of jobs. We are seeing big companies, Twitter and the rest, laying workers off and all of that. And we're just having that conversation that, man, it's now difficult. It's easier now for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than someone to get a job, But then when the CEO told me about that, I was baffled, and I thought to share it. And this is why you should share this channel. Don't hoard this information. Don't be stingy. Share it with your groups. When they join, when you share it, tell them to subscribe to our channel. Tell them to visit expaat.co. I think maybe in our next Expaat TV, I'm going to discuss with the CEO so we can have the openings that are available. We can announce it on this Expaat TV, and then how they can apply, so that you can. That's if they don't fill the role before Sunday, because we come up every Sunday to do that. But if you want to be proactive, you can visit expaat.co and help yourself. Thank you so much, beautiful people. Thank you, Idowu, for joining us. Idowu Lekura, all the way from Spain, and myself, Emmanuel Ohanwe, your moderator in Nigeria here. It's a very great privilege to host you and to deliver these pockets of knowledge, and we do hope that this becomes an antidote to whatever problem you are facing in your business or career. If you want to take advantage of all that Expaat has to offer, please do well to visit our website and grab everything we have to offer. Thank you so much. I think we are going to be calling it a day. So that Mr. Oidowu can also go and address other things he has to do. So yeah. So after this short break, we're going to be going on a very short break. And after that short break, we're going to call it a day. Do well to subscribe to our channel. If you've not subscribed to our channel, that is very important. And as you do that, you get more value from what we are doing. Right. So here is the short break.
We all know we can make better decisions if we have more information. The concept of data has been around since the beginning of time. Every company ran their business based upon data. I remember the first time I dealt with a large retail company. The store manager had all the data that he said he needed. So I asked to see it, and it was on a yellow pad of paper. And he knew what sold, what didn't sell, and he said, why would he need anything more than that? Well, let's fast forward to today. What do store managers use for making decisions? Well, all the information that they gather by products being sold and scanned at the cash register. But what about the digital video surveillance that's in every store, where they can actually monitor what aisles people walk up and down? They also analyze based upon your loyalty card, what you buy, when you buy, where you buy it, and how you buy it. They also analyze what men buy versus what women buy. All that data exists today, and more is being collected. And heaven forbid you try to figure out what you're doing online. Every company that you deal with online has your digital footprint. What websites you've been to, what's your IP address, what device you're using. Last December, even before the Christmas holiday ended, companies were saying 70% of items being purchased online were being purchased from mobile devices as opposed to laptops. How do they know that? Because they're collecting all that data. Well, the data is raw material, so you need to collect it and organize it, and that's step one. Step two is summarizing that data, analyzing it, and taking that data and elevating it to information. The next step is understanding patterns. What do men buy? What do women buy? What's market segmentation do? What do female athletes at NJIT do? What do companies of a certain size do? What's the automotive industry doing? That's when you start to see patterns. And now you go from information to knowledge. And then the next step is much more predictive, where you're actually making decisions based upon this knowledge. And you're now using it in terms of wisdom. So you've gone from data to information to knowledge and wisdom. And when a company has migrated their data to the wisdom level, now they're able to make decisions on what businesses should we be in, what businesses should we opt not to be in, how can we be more successful, how can we react to our competition, how can we be 3 steps ahead of our competition. So that's why data is so important. And people say, well, this concept of big data, analyzing information, that's existed for years. Yes, it has. But the impact of it is much greater today. And the ability to gather data is important. Now, data is a corporate asset, and it needs to be protected as a corporate asset. However, data is just the raw information. You need to migrate that data through information, knowledge, and wisdom to really have it be a critical part of any organization.